Characters wherever you like on our section of the map.
Okay, I will place them.
Thank you, because I'm not going to do that. No.
Because I'm not going to do
Because, fuck you, no.
And the rest are mine. Cool. And everyone should still have all of their recorded damage and spells cast in previous games. So all that information should be where it is. Placing, let's see, this makes the most sense to me. Satanta, closer to Raffi or closer to the front of the battlefield?
How is that not one and the same?
Raffi's...
Raffi, what the...
I was jumping off the castle. I didn't get up there yet.
Raffi's a little slower than you. You run faster than this.
I am incredibly fast, so hi, I'm up front.
Okay, so you're going to
Wait,
be
where's
more in
Jet?
front of Raffi though, wherever he wants to.
I'm like right behind
Get
you.
the fuck up here, Jet.
Yeah, so that's gonna. So this is gonna be like this is gonna be the Satanta gets then like the tanks in the front. Okay.
Halo.
Kellen's in the middle, even though she
I'll
should
be
be
there.
held
Because
back.
I am a tank. No? So you're not willing to
Get out of the tank.
The back.
You're not my dad.
Yeah.
I got one.
Fire the main cannon.
Why are there 6 pedals?
And then I get the place you.
That's fucking old school RBB.
Let's call this stuff.
I've only watched the first 2 seasons.
That is what I would define as old school RBB.
So these are both 80 feet.
Oh, we're
right?
being recorded.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
And
Trying to get the last battle.
I'll refrain from any inappropriate jokes on you.
You're allowed to make inappropriate
Yeah,
jokes.
make
We're the
her-
only
I'm not
ones who are
gonna
watching. She's recording it so that she can take notes on it later and focus on the game now.
I see.
It's also just a key. Like,
Well, yeah. Like,
fuck.
yes, indeed. Fuckity fuck.
Okay, that makes sense. Unity is near Callista and Lem. That makes sense. Okay. So, a couple of ground rules before we start tonight as well. For the purposes of this battlefield, I mentioned it to everyone, but I haven't mentioned it to Kyle yet. The rough size, shape, and like structure of each of the minis, yes, that matters. That is representative of what you are dealing with. The weapons that they are carrying in their hands doesn't matter. The minis were free and it was all I had. So they represent roughly what they are, but otherwise, although these ones mostly bows. But anyway. And the other thing is each of these squares is 10 feet. So if you have whatever movement that you have, count that out in number of squares. So like Lunkus can run 80 feet.
8 squares.
So you can move 8 squares in a single movement action on your turn, 8 squares on this battlefield. If you have a 5 in your movement, which I believe only one of us does, then you can move an extra square, like round it down, and you can move an extra square every other turn.
Or that.
Or you can move diagonally. That's fine. Well, yeah, sure, fuck it. Yeah, you get 1 diagonal extra move.
Well, you know how diagonals count as an extra space
Oh, so
every
you can
other...
move an extra diagonal. Oh, yeah, right, because...
You can have one diagonal not count as an extra space. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, yeah. That
But
was,
otherwise, you can move freely. But normally, like, it'd be every other diagonal is actually 30 feet instead of,
right,
you
yeah.
go 5, and then instead of 10, it's 15. I don't remember how we're
So
doing it.
instead you do, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it'll make sense as we know what you're talking about. Okay.
And that's the castle.
No.
No.
So these,
That's
so
when you flip to the other side.
this is a massive. This is called the Dragon's Gullet. This is an area of the battlefield that you have been explained by Little Silverhand. The Dragon's Gullet is this sort of like thin, craggy outcropping. These 2 sides of the map are actually, they are 80 feet up in the air. And these enemies are, you saw them, so you know their rough positioning as your castle is crashing. But these enemies are looking down onto the gullet. There are a bevy of undead creatures, skeletons, zombies, wights, ghasts, and other undead monstrosities within the central area, and a number of the figures interspersed among them are also cultist necromancers, led by these two very intimidating looking skeletal necromantic figures in the back. This entire section is just kobolds and winged kobolds. Each one of these is a kobold and then a winged kobold flying above it.
I know.
Kobolds and winged kobolds with crossbows. This entire section is a bunch of like random brutish soldiers. Some are hauling rocks, some are firing ballista.
Just dudes.
And then back here you saw some sort of large metallic being, some sort of like wind monster, and a bunch of other figures surrounding a pillar. Everything in that back area as the gullet expands outwards and all those red cloaked figures and like armored foot soldiers, that is a mix of mercenary soldiers, mostly orcs and goblins, cult soldiers of varying ranks, most of them wearing capes or cultist masks, so like more middle to high ranking cultists. And then all the figures in the back past the lava river and across the bridge. Those are all like high-ranking cult members and elite warriors. And then beyond that, yeah, elite warriors. And then beyond that, you find that like it extends well beyond, and it's a little harder to see there. But there's even more soldiers leading beyond, and then some huge barricade which bubbles over the top of a massive, like 150-foot tall, jagged spire, surrounded by like dozens upon dozens of swarming, flying adult dragons. Several drakes and wyverns mounted by foot soldiers. The whole back area is a mess, but right now your goal is to get through this section of the battlefield as efficiently as you possibly can, so that you can get to the next half. And then beyond that lies the Temple of Tiamat, where you know that presently the ritual to summon Tiamat to this plane of existence is being cast.
Alright, so where do we start?
Well, so first of all, do we all remember what happened last time?
We fought 10 dragons at once and won.
You fought 10 dragons atop of flying, the flying castle.
Yes.
The energy pulse from the castle managed to do an amount of damage to the dragons that mostly finished them off after you had all weakened them. You then finished off the remainder of the dragons, but the castle ran low on steam and crash landed behind where you currently are. You all and your armies have funneled out. Your armies are now situated around the castle behind you. All of you are stationed here. And as your first action, as you open up onto the battlefield, you see all of these figures sort of turn towards you. The armies well behind the castle, all like starting to pivot and retreat to try to get at all of you because you've overshot most of the bulk of the forces. But the armies of the Sword Coast Alliance, Laeral's armies, the armies of the elves, the armies of the dwarves, have cut them off, blocking off the main body of their forces, the vanguard of their forces, from being able to provide reinforcements. They've blocked them, and the bulk of their forces are now engaged in a massive, like, several thousands person large conflict behind you. You can hear the screams and roars of violence and warfare behind you. You can hear the cheers and whoops of victory and readiness of your soldiers situated behind you. And you can hear the menace, the growling, and the aggression of the soldiers laid out in front of you as the dragons above swirl and menace the battlefield.
Russian, huh?
Yeah, I'm just super into Russian stuff.
All right, everybody.
Russian stuff.
Why are you into
I like the
Russian?
language, and I don't know, the language is interesting.
All right, guys,
Yeah,
let's get
they're
focused.
kind of jackasses.
Yeah.
Nope. Let's get focused. All right, so here's what's going to happen. The armies, you land on the battlefield, and your soldiers get situated. You all being the talented soldiers that you are, as your soldiers get situated on the battlefield, you can still see like javelins are being tossed in your directions, arrows are fired, and some like very light, simple spells being arced across the battlefield, a lot of them falling short, not quite being able to reach over this huge hill, some of them cracking against the sides of a mountain, tumbling rocks down to cover the path. Some of the arrows make their way over towards all of you, but they're heavy weaponry, and you guys have seen so much battle, have been through so much, that these like simple foot soldiers can barely attempt to touch you with minor petty firing. However, some of your soldiers from behind are struck with some of the arrows and javelins, loose spells, and the longer that you tarry in this section, the more likely it is that your soldiers are going to be dwindled away as all of your major armies await further orders from their generals. You are going to decide, as your individual characters, what you're going to be doing. If you are the leader of an army, you can command an army to march for a specific portion of the battlefield and attempt to cut their way through. That's probably not going to work unless you put something down in your sheets. You'll have to command your armies to cut your way through something or find their way around this battle. Any of your player characters can feel free to make rolls to help, to contribute actions to weakening and softening up the forces. When it comes down to it, when your armies engage with their armies, it's going to come down to a contested skill war. This is the saving skill challenges. If you are unsuccessful, your army will be routed by their forces, and you'll be down one force. You have amongst your group 16 active, like small-scale military groups, 3 led by one of each of your general characters: Lundquist, Raffi, Callista, Geth, and
That question's irrelevant.
oh, it's okay. Lundquist, Raffi, Callista, Geth, and Melisana.
I was gonna
Are
ask
each
if I would
ruling
have any sort of
3
advantage on
Lem
that.
has
Sven is led.
Lem does have one, yes.
That's like higher, but Sven is.
If you can find soldiers on the battlefield who
Entirety?
basically this is going to be a skill challenge. Skill challenges are basically like you guys are going to be able to move around the battlefield however you want. Your characters are going to contribute in whatever way you want. You tell me something your character can do to help the fight that you think makes sense. I will tell you what to roll, and I'll tell you how successful you are.
I was asking if Sven would have any. I don't know if you heard my question.
If Sven would be
have any sort of advantage because he's led troops before.
Yeah, you can
When he was
find
a pirate?
like he led pirates. So he was a first mate. So if he is with a group of soldiers that would respond well to pirate-like commands or methods of leadership,
Then it'd be
you
fair.
might be able to give him a little help on the battlefield. Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yep. And we gotta make this roll. We gotta do it in here
Or in here.
or in there. Oh yeah.
Oh, it's going the other way now.
That's fine, I can do it over
Yeah,
here.
it's gotta be in here.
I'm
Oh,
out.
you're up.
Ooh!
Done.
Nope.
Not enough.
I'm not out, but I'm not in. Hands up. Where's the shot?
Oh, right. Yeah, she's like, no.
I ain't done nothing, nothing.
Another 7. What's
Lucky
Destiny?
number.
Slut.
Mama, number 9.
Right.
Ooh, 5. Well, that makes it a little easier, I think.
You caught the 7.
Will this bode well for our group? Will all of us die?
It's happened exactly once
It
before.
has, that's true.
Yeah, I think for the new campaign, when we roll, I'm gonna write who gets it more. That's actually.
Oh, yeah, like
pretty
actually take notes on it, yeah.
good. Yeah, I'll just like put a little thing in the back of my notebook.
Hey, one thing at a time. Let's finish this one first.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's all die on
Ooh,
this.
Kyle got it. It stopped lighting up, though.
I really feel like Kyle's won it the most.
Oh yeah, I got a new
Kind of
die for that, now that it's dying.
You got one from? No, okay. No, you did not. You didn't.
I got
Yeah, I got one, yeah.
Oh.
How was your Kineticon?
It would have been better if you guys had gone.
I know.
That's the new one we're gonna use, Kyle.
Holy fuck?
That's a big boy.
Does it light up though?
No.
Oh, then get that shit
But
out of
it's
here.
twice as big. That one doesn't light up anymore either.
Yeah, well, it's the part that
There you
counts.
go.
I know.
Tinkerbell is still useful after no one believes she's a fairy
No, she's not.
No one believes in fairies
She's
anymore.
just a really tiny girl then.
Okay, everybody. So here's what you see. A bulk of armed and armored cultist forces, a number of strange-looking ethereal figures, one of them massively large and outfitted with several extremely dangerous-looking saw-like weapons. A fucking absurd number of kobolds on this cliff, all wielding crossbows. Undead zombies, undead monstrosities, and some lich-looking spellcasters commanding them, wearing Cult of the Dragon robes, but particularly older and more aged-looking robes, like they're members of the old cult. They rush to fill in as you arrive on the battlefield. They spend most of their time rushing to fill in a fairly large space in their battle positioning, which looks like it would have roughly fit maybe a Draco Lich-sized creature, but unfortunately they were unable to raise a Draco Lich earlier in their battle preparations, thanks to you guys, so they had to fill it in with regular fucking zombies. In the back, you have a number of heavily armed and armored mercenaries, orcs and goblins, and middle-ranking cultists. And in the back, you have more elite cultists and powerful mages and elite guards. Yeah, that guy's a big wizard. He's a big dumb red wizard. He's a nasty guy. Okay, so the battlefield lies out in front of you. Your soldiers prepare for battle. The soldiers all gather up, and the enemy forces all root themselves into the ground. And
Didn't we pre-roll initiative or something?
we might have.
I don't know.
I might have saved it to my
I just have a feeling that might have been something we did the same time
computer.
first time.
And I don't know
Whatever.
if we have it. Let's find out. No. We might have, but now, here's what we're going to do. I've decided, nope. This series is a skill challenge. You all are going to tell me what you want to do. And then I'm going to tell you if it succeeds. And we're going to react accordingly. Don't worry too much about initiative, because this isn't traditional combat. You guys are fighting such large groups of enemies that regular turn-by-turn combat is kind of irrelevant. Enemies aren't going to be able to focus their attention on you. What?
My Fitbit died.
Oh, that's shitty.
I'm really sorry to hear that. Try a new battery.
It's just foreshadowing.
Oh yeah, for all the death that's going to happen to you guys. Okay, so
I'm not superstitious. I'm a lot.
as the enemy forces root themselves into the ground, their weapons drawn and turned on your forces, another volley fires, and your soldiers all deflect away whatever they can, some falling to the attack. Your soldiers start to file up and shout, "Orders! Worm tamers!
Alright, who's got an army?
We march!" And all the other soldiers behind
all the
shout,
smart people.
"We march for the Alliance!"
Tonight, we march.
And heck!
Melisana goes, "My soldiers, to my sides!" And her groups start to level up, or inch themselves up towards here, filing up as they wait for further orders. The enemy forces growl and grimace and shout out, "You made it to the middle! Not quite at the temple. And you sure as hell aren't gonna make it in time for the Queen to come take her place. Don't worry, we'll bloody you up nice and well for when she comes. But you won't be too mean. She'll need herself a snap right now."
We're running like Asher and Racker.
Yeah, your soldiers are moving. Okay,
So here's the plan. Callista's going to communicate this to everyone with a message.
cast a message spell, sure.
I want all of the big fighters in the front. Split right down the middle, plow through anyone in their path. Spellcasters will provide supporting fire from the rear and keep as many spells as we can off you. But we just want to cleave our way right through as best as we can. Does everyone agree?
Yes.
I'm talking Jeff, Satanta, Sven, Rafi, Asher.
That was Sven's plan.
Yeah, well,
Luciano goes,
Lundquist.
cutting through the middle might be difficult with the other sides of the cliffs firing down on us. We should at least devote some of our forces to
Well,
going
that's-
to the left and right.
That's what we have our more agile people
They'll
who
come
will
to
take them
you,
out.
don't worry.
Those ones are on our archers. They won't come to us, they'll fire down on us. While we're in that pit, it'll be hard to dodge.
We'll send our more agile people after Lundquist, Unity, Lem if he wants to.
Quick runners and teleporters, especially mass teleporters. If you can get your armies up those cliffs somehow, that would be ideal.
Exactly. Luciano as well.
A nomad's gates.
Are they all using bows and shit too?
These guys, they have mostly javelins, they have rocks that they are tumbling down the cliffside, and they have ballista. The rocks really only have a range of effectiveness, it's very close by. You notice they don't roll particularly well beyond, because it's kind of jagged, they kind of tumble down. And they have
These guys are just crossbows?
these are like, this is literally like 120 kobolds with crossbows.
Cute.
And then this side is all a bunch of like rank and file cultists, all with like mostly like big heavy weaponry, but they have like some basic like javelins, like slings, some are in ballista. But it does look like this side is less heavily guarded. Luciano goes, if you can buy me some time, I can get a couple of armies through a gate. And he just looks up and goes, I can cover the right side.
Then
I
what are
can
we
get rid
waiting
of the
for?
right side.
Who's this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a blow of a whistle.
The dragons. Do we want?
Why would we climb when we can... The dragons can go take care of them?
It's not an unreasonable idea.
But we don't know where the other enemy dragons are.
We do have to be mindful of using the dragons too much. If
Yes.
they're weakened for when we try to engage the dragons who are guarding the temple, we may have a hell of a time getting in.
Yeah, we never want to play our trump cards too early.
We've got experts at dragon slaying.
We do have experts in dragon slaying.
We are the experts.
Sort of named after it.
We also should have talked about this on the castle before it crashed.
Yeah, Melisana just goes, I like that. Use the dragons, but not too sparingly. And anyone who can run or otherwise move up rocks. Lundy.
This motherfucker.
Yeah. The cliffs are 80 feet. Lundquist's move speed is now 80 feet.
You get up
You
there.
can run up walls. Yeah.
I'm gonna jump on my broom and give it back up.
Okay, so, alright, so right now,
Okay.
plan of action is, Lundquist is, what is Lundquist doing?
Archers
I was
or
the one
assholes?
running straight.
Oh, or down the middle.
Kobolds.
Fucking kobolds. All right.
Oh, of course you want to go up to the kobolds. This is your dream come
Yeah,
true.
fucking kobolds.
This is
So-
a fucking wet dream for you.
My original idea was to run into as far into the middle as I can and dick fire as far
You can do it from the edge too,
I could.
and then just keep going
What's
straight.
the German term for the flamethrower? Floppenwaffe or something?
Yeah, the
Floppenwaffe?
Yeah.
Floppenwaffe?
Yeah. Uns,
The fire? Uns
fire the Flammenwaffen.
Fly the Floppenwaffe.
Okay,
That's
so
Hey,
Holly's gonna hop on her broom.
Oh.
Holly's gonna hop on her broom and provide aerial support to Lundquist, who immediately upon realizing after we land, he looks up and he sees like a kobold actually like aims down, like comes over the corner and just goes, hack! And fires a crossbow bolt, and like it fires at Lundquist, and Lundquist just like grabs it without even looking and snaps it in half between his fingers, and he's just like, I heard kobolds. And you look up, and you just see fucking like literally 100 of them up this cliff, and Lundquist just like, bye. And he immediately starts running towards it. Holly hops on her broom. Lundquist, you have armies. What are you doing with them? Are you giving them orders, or are you just going after the kobolds?
I'm gonna go in and see what I can do and then give them orders.
Okay, so the armies are going to stay stationary in this area. And then,
Yeah.
Okay. So that group is going here. Next, what else are we doing? Luciano and Melisana are going to come over here with their armies. They're going to group up, and Melisana is going to provide defensive support for Luciano while he begins channeling a nomad's gate to teleport, like make a little portal that opens up here, and just like move literally their entire army up here.
Rafi and Asher are running forward.
Rafi and Asher are running forward to be up with the rest of the tanks.
Preferably past them if I can.
Oh yeah, this is like going to be a full like minute's worth of action.
Yeah.
So you're going to try to run up and engage the undead forces first?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what we're supposed to do, right?
Yeah, that was what Callista said, yep. Satanta, Geth, same thing?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yep, so here's the whole army.
Geth is... So what Geth is going to do is he's going to blow the whistle, and he's going to command Orinox and his army to basically just salt the land up on that hill. And then immediately following that, that assault, have the flaming fists start scaling the walls to gain a position up on the hill.
All right, so...
and then the purple dragon knights will follow behind us.
Okay, so purple dragon knights are joining the main body of the horses going after the undead and the necromancers in the center of the dragon's gullet. In the meanwhile, you summon the great draconic armies, the metallic dragon armies, and as yes?
Kurumaru's going with them.
With them?
Yes.
Understood. Kurumaru moves off, and I will use this D10 to represent Kurumaru.
Thank you.
Kurumaru banks off with the rest of the melee fighters and begins contributing as much as he can. Kellen is going to...
They're legible.
Yeah, same.
Oh, excellent.
All right, Kellen just goes
That's an awesome point.
spell conservation.
Oh no.
Is that what Callista said?
What did I say?
Spell conservation.
She said she was going to try and shield people from other people's spells.
Well, I can't do that. I do not have that capability. I can counterspell one thing
by
like once.
poking other people, drawing fire to ourselves.
But my spell, if we can use less expensive spells to provide covering fire, distracting fire.
Cars.
Our goal as the spellcasters isn't to destroy, but to distract. Dissonance. We want to spread discord and dissonance amongst the enemy
Kellen's
ranks.
going to run up behind Geth.
And Cerno and Kellen and Callista are all very good at that sort of thing. I believe Fernir can also assist in this matter as
With
well.
spellcasting, yeah.
If he wants to spellcast, or if he wants to join the front lines as
a monkey boy?
giant fucking monkey that can
They can scale walls?
that can scale
Did you say
fucking
scale
walls.
walls?
Dude, this is you.
Out of the collage in the center that's going forward, who can move the least amount?
The
Who has
slowest...
the worst?
Rappy's 30 and Asher's 40. So Rappy's my worst.
Satanta and Asher are both
40 feet.
Geth, I believe, is 30.
30 is a pretty
it's
slow
not
boy.
very-
Can I
Kellen's also 30.
don't know if this will
Sven is 30. No, Sven's part barbarian. Sven's 35.
If
No,
I
Sven's
touch Gath,
Yeah.
I don't think Sven's 40 yet. I think you
So
get
Sven might be 35.
give
Yeah, he
him
might be.
freedom of movement, does that help?
Freedom of movement means that you can't be restrained or held up by difficult terrain.
Yeah.
In
Which
this
might
case,
help.
there is a lot of difficult terrain on the battlefield as you're moving through, so freedom of movement will make you
It says
like...
touch a willing creature, so I can only cast it on one person.
Yeah, one person per single cast, but I don't believe it's concentration.
Sick.
So you could cast that on other people too. Not
Yeah, it would
pass
take a
this turn.
spell slot per one.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Who are you casting? And who's casting it?
Fernir Gath.
Fernir, okay, so Fernir, as Geth runs by, Fernir is going to sort of start waving his hands, and he'll plant his hands down on Geth's shoulder as he runs by, and Geth feels his whole body becoming light. You feel unstoppable. You feel like nothing could stand in your way. You're affected by freedom of movement. You basically can't be grappled. You can't be slowed down by difficult terrain, and otherwise can't be interfered with by non-magical.
Delightful.
Yeah. So.
Cannot stop me.
Yeah, like there's tight spaces through here, and it's going to be hard to move through. As a group, you can't really move past any soldiers unless you are like